Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on Saturday. It's the 15th of July, 2023. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program from the spa, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. Some great racing in the UK today, highlighted by the July Cup from Newmarket. It's a very good sprint race, so I hope you go check out my preview for that. But today's card from Saratoga is very good. Hopefully we stay on the turf. Yesterday's card just got destroyed with all those off the turf scratches. Today, I'm pretty sure we're going to be on the turf. Problem is I didn't have time to look at full cards selections here for YouTube. I will have my full card selections up here on YouTube a little later on. I'm going to put them in the description box. So if they're not on in the description box when this video goes live, they'll be up later in the night or early morning. So go check out my full card thoughts for all these races here a little later. But we're going to look at the stakes race here, talking about it right now. Races 4, 9, and 10. So let's get to it right now. Starting off with the fourth race featured on the program. And before going any further, because it just came to my mind, it's going to be the first Saturday since St. Patrick's Day weekend that I'm not going to be at a racetrack. I've been going to Aqueduct or Belmont every weekend since then. And, it's going to be kind of weird staying at home. Saratoga is about 3.5 hours from New York City, something like that. If I leave now, maybe I'll get there, but maybe this summer, we'll see. But let's get to the fourth race from Saratoga, which is the Diana Stakes. It's a Grade 1 event going for a $500,000 purse. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. 5 horses are going to the Mellon Turf Course, the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or 1.125 on the Mellon Turf Course. And I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. I have a lot of notes for this race, so I just want to give a second so I can look down. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse here, White Beam. I'm going to go 5-2-4-3 in the superfecta. 5-2-4-3 super. Top selection of 5 horse White Beam. 4-year-old filly by Caravaggio here. Chad Brown trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 20th of May at Pimlico, a mile 16th in the Grade 3 Gallarette. And the horse finished 1 by 2 1/4 lengths that day, and he basically stalked that day. He brushed a little bit in the lane, but when he quickened up, he kept going. That was a very strong run. Coming here to the graveyard of favorites, I think an Italian's a little bit vulnerable in the spot. I think, but it wouldn't surprise me if she wins by a mile. She's run triple-digit buyers the last few starts. But coming here to a mile and 8, I think they're going to set some pace with her, and I think, this horse can possibly slightly upset. 2 back in the Plenty of Grace at Aqueduct, 1 mile in turf course, 16th of April. She finished second by a neck that day. She just kind of stalked that day. The winner had the jump on her, but she didn't go down without a fight. I thought she, ran a good race first off the bench stateside, and then the Prix de Saint-Cyr at Longchamp, 7 furlongs, very heavy ground, the 23rd of October. The horse finished 9th by 4 lengths that day, and she never really got going on the demanding ground. Prior to that, an enlisted race at Newmarket over the mile on the 23rd of September. She finished second by a half a length that day, and she closed up from nowhere. I thought she had a terrific race there, and then a handicap over the 7 at Haydock last August. She won by a half length. Not the best beginnings, but she really closed up well late. She has some forwardly pace, which I hope they use here today. She's training well. I'm going to give her a shot to possibly be in Italian, but I'm going to use an Italian on the multi-race also. She's 2-5 here, and she put on a show in the Just Game, winning by 3 3/4 lengths that day. A 103 buyer. She freaked that day. Prior to that, the Jenny Wiley, she won by 3 lengths. Again, really good fractions she went away with there. And then the Breeze Cup filly mare turf of the mile 3/16 to Keeneland. She just couldn't stay the trip. She was also had a wide poster, which was a little bit of a detriment to her ability. She started the winning streak last year, and last year's Diana winning by 1.5 lengths with a 102 buyer. Came back to win the First Lady with a 104 buyer, which was a career best. 104 buyer career best in the Breeders' Cup. She's a good horse. She's training well. She loves the mile and eighth. Mile and eighth might be stretching it, but she could definitely win here. But I'm trying to find a slightly better price here. I think they'll bet in Italian to the ground, and I think you could get a better price on White Beam. So I'm going to take her as a top selection. But if an Italian wins, good for her. But to recap my selection for the fourth from Saratoga now, it is the Grade 1 Diana. Going to take the 1 horse White Beam. Give kudos to the 2 horse in Italian. 5-2-4-3 super. 5-2 in the multi-race. To the ninth race now from the Spa. It is the Kelso Stakes. It's a Grade 3 event going for a $175,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going to the turf course. The distance of ground here of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Saratoga inner turf course, formerly known as the Forbidden Apple. The last few seasons, this year they changed it to the Kelso. And if you're not mistaken, there used to be a race at Belmont in the fall over the dirt called the Kelso. And before that, when they came up with the British Cup Dirt Mile, they wanted a local dirt mile race here in New York to run as a British Cup prep race. So they moved the Kelso, which was originally on turf at Belmont, to the mile at Belmont because the on the dirt. So the Kelso used to actually be years ago at Belmont on the turf as a British Cup mile prep race, and quite a few horses I believe did the Kelso mile prep race or Belmont Kelso double. But it's good to see this race back on turf. My top selection here, I love the 6-horse Filo de Arana. I'm gonna go 6-2-8-5 in the superfecta. 6-2-8-5 super. Top selection 6-horse Filo de Arana. 7-year-old horse by Drosselmeyer. Mark Cassie trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 10th of June at Belmont, 1 mile in the Grade 3 poker, and he finished second by a neck behind Emmanuel that day. He set the pace that day. He got caught in the lane. He ran his heart. I just couldn't stay the trip first time in a routing trip this season. I didn't think it was a half bad race. He's coming here to a speed favoring turf course. He gets a little closer. I'm going to give him a shot to win today. 2 back seasonal appearance at Woodbine, 5.5 on the Tapeta and optional 80. He finished second by half a length. The thought of that race was, let's give him a race. They had a lot of these short races, allowance races at Woodbine to start the season. They just probably wanted to get a run under his belt. I wasn't expecting much off of that run, and he ran okay, but, it was basically a paid workout there. He finished in 102 and 4. And then prior to that, in the King Edward at Woodbine, 1 mile, 21st of August last season, he won by 2 lengths on the front and all throughout, seeing some very good fractions. A 98 buyer, nothing bad about that race. And then last July over the 7 in the Connacht Cup at Woodbine, he won by 2.5 lengths with a 101 buyer. Again, a great run on the front end. 108 and 3 3/4 he ran that day. He was flying. He won the over the 7 at Woodbine before that, an optional 80 on the Tapeta, winning by 6.5 with a 102 buyer. Another race where he's flying. He's a very quick horse here. He's coming back here. If he could slow it down, he could win at 5-1. I'm going to use him. The 2-horse Annapolis, it wouldn't surprise me if he stalks and gets a good trip and he catches Filo de Arana. He won the opening verse quite nicely with Churchill by ahead, closing up from mid-pack that day in May. In the British Cup Mile, he finished 11th by 5.5 lengths that day, where he's just drawn a little bit too wide. I thought he was facing tough horses, but then he won the Keeneland Turf Mile quite nicely at 6.5 to 1, and won the Saranac on this inner turf course quite nicely also. Coming here today, he likes the mile trip. It wouldn't surprise me. And also the 8-horse Consecrate. He's up there in age now, but he's, he loves Saratoga. He's 4 for 2 on this turf course. He won quite a few 4-star Daves. He won quite a few Jaipurs. And, he's kind of like wine. He's aging like a very fine wine. He won last year's 4-star Dave, won last year's Jaipur. They ran them in the British Cup Turf Sprint last season, where he just never really got going. I would, if the British Cup Turf Sprint this year, say 6.5 down the hill at San Antonio, I bet everything I own on this horse, but I think they're going to be running at a 5 this year because he looks like a down-the-hill turf course kind of horse. But coming here to a mile, if he sees a strong pace, he could definitely close into it. Came back with a 99 buyer in the Jaipur over the 3/4 last time out. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Saratoga now, it is the Kelso. Going to take the 6-horse Filo de Arana as top selection. Give kudos to the 2-horse Annapolis and the 8-horse Consecrate. 6-2-8-5 super. 6-2 in your multi-race. The 10th race from Saratoga, it is the Sanford Stakes. It's a Grade 3 event going for a $175,000 purse. Race for 2-year-olds here. 10 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. Going to take as a top selection the number 9 horse Gold Sweep. 9-1-7-10 for me in the superfecta. 9-1-7-10 super. Top selection 9 horse Gold Sweep. Short colt by Spicetown. Steve Asmussen trains. Jose Ortiz gets on this horse. They bought this horse last summer at the Face It Saratoga sale for $285,000, so they think highly of him, I think. Most recently in the Tremont at Belmont, 5.5 on the 11th of June. The horse won by 9 lengths that day, and from a tracking trip, he got to the front end, he quickened up nicely, and in a hand ride late, he took off clear. That was a very exciting ride. Coming here today, you know, not the world's toughest Sanford. I thought last year was, with Mo Strike went on to win last year, I believe. Went on to have a decent season. Forte finished fourth. Went on to have a great fall. Brewers Cup winner. It's not the world's toughest Sanford this year. I think he get a good trip, and I think he can win because that last run was, stellar. Even on debut where he lost, I thought he ran a terrific race at Churchill with a 5 in the main special weight. He finished second by a neck that day. He had a horrible trip early on, a little bit wide. He was closing up like a quarter horse late. Nothing bad about the race. Keep in mind, quite a few horses have one next start out of that run. He is training well at Churchill and at Saratoga on the Oklahoma. Most recent Oklahoma workout was in 3/8 of a mile and 38 flat, the best workout too, and a 5/8 mile drill at Churchill in 1 minute and 4/5 of a second, the sixth best workout in 19. It wouldn't surprise me if he improves off that last run. 91 buyers at 3-year-old in June is not bad at all. I'll give this horse a shot on the ticket. I could also understand the one horse called the Cavalry for winning for Ira Ortiz at 8-1 and Kenneth McPeak. Most recently on debut on the 4th of June at Belmont over the 5 in the main special weight. This horse won by 2 lengths, and he didn't get out of the gate so easily, but after that he settled well. He slowly moved his way up, and he took off clear late. A very good run. Come back since the race. He's been training well on the Oklahoma training track here. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket also. He showed potential after that recovery, after that near miss out of the gate. But to recap my selection now for the 10th from Saratoga, it is the Grade 3 Sanford. Gonna take the 9-horse Gold Sweep. Give kudos to the 1-horse Call the Cavalry. 9-1-7-10 Super. 9-1 in your multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck everybody.